Jesus, holiness, my definition of holiness that makes it a little more human and natural for me, for holiness instead of the halo. My idea of holiness, my understanding of that is holiness is always doing exactly the right thing. Never making a mistake. Mike and I both love another book by John Eldredge called Beautiful Outlaw, if you haven't read that. It's an incredible book that brings Jesus back down his human side so you can see his personality. And the way he is able to navigate through all the challenges that he faces during his ministry without ever sinning. He's able to treat each person with the exact amount of love that they need, mixed with the exact amount of reprimand that they need. How often he's just right in the face of the Pharisees. How often he is able to know how to be pure, entirely free of all accusation. When people are setting a trap for him, asking him a tricky question, how he's able to just navigate his way out of that. He never makes a mistake. That's holiness. I think that makes it a lot more desirable than the way we've been brought up thinking a halo. Oh my goodness, I saw a movie, and this is in the Catholic tradition, I saw a movie about St. Francis that was made in the 70s. Maybe you remember this one. And I watched the movie, and at the end I said, the guy who made this movie had no idea what holiness looked like, because he just made it so unappetizing. I mean, St. Francis is this guy who hanging out with his buddies, and then he has this vision from God, and all of a sudden his friends come to see him, and he's out rebuilding the church stone by stone, and he quotes Bible verses at his buddies when they come to talk to him. That's how he speaks to them. And it's like, so holiness means no longer being human. You don't have friends, you don't love people, you just quote Bible verses. It was shocking how far from true holiness. Holiness is so desirable. As Eldredge, he wrote a book called The Utter Relief of Holiness. Imagine, what if we all have a sin that has, or a personality weakness that has shipwrecked our lives time after time after time. And we struggle with it, and we try to cope with it, and we try to do better at it. Imagine what it would be like to not only never do that thing ever again, but to not even struggle with it. For it to simply be gone. To be entirely free of it. It's just incredible. And the thing is, I said when I look around the room, I don't see that. You certainly don't see that on me. But it is what we've been called to. It is where we are headed. Mike called his ministry way back in 1984, when he started in 1984, Wholeness Ministries. It is such a beautiful word. What the Bible talks about is two things. Where God is headed with you, ultimately, despite whatever your bad start was, with your family, with your own personality, with the sins that were committed against you, his ultimate goal is two things. To make you whole and holy by his love. And that's what this is all about. Healing, physical healing ministry wants to see your bodies whole. It's a beautiful thing. It's an exciting thing. It's the supernatural coming in, and that pumps everybody up. We love it. And it brings such sense of God's love for you that he heals you physically. You're like, oh my goodness, he is really right on top of this. He really cares about little things like whether my knee hurts. It's incredible. But that is just one part of wholeness. Wholeness is the whole deal. That's why it's such a big word. Wholeness, it's everything. Any part of you that is not feels complete yet. God's ultimate plan is to restore that. I mean, in his sermon, The Weight of Glory, C.S. Lewis talks about how incredible that the most amazing thing you've ever met in your entire life is another human being. That if we could see what each human being around us was ultimately in God's vision, we would be almost tempted to worship the beings that he intends you to become.